Diablo 4 reveals some more details, Steam launches a points shop for realsies this time, Huawei phones might be banned in the UK, and we have a bit more information on Cyberpunk 2077. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm Josh Strife Hayes. This is Daily Strife, a bite-sized show all about geeky gossip and nerdy news. So if you'd like daily updates on what's going on in the world of nerd, do me a favour, click subscribe, click the bell. Let's see what's going on in the world today. Blizzard haven't been doing so great recently. They've kind of had three major PR kind of mishaps within the last year or so. The Warcraft expansion Battle for Azeroth sold incredibly well and promised to return to the classic Horde versus Alliance kind of clash, that thing that we've all come to know and love, the rivalry that we wanted to see continue. The trailers featured battles between the Horde, battles between the Alliance, and we were all ready for it to get back to its roots. Then we actually played it, and it turned out it was a Mayan, South American inspired two distinct islands, Horde and Alliance, teaming up against an ancient evil. So again, the Horde and the Alliance were teaming up to stop something bigger than themselves. That's happened every single expansion. Battle for Azeroth promised to not be that, and it was that. So strike one against Blizzard there. Then the event that made me unsub, that was the banning of Blitzchung and the sportscasters at the Hearthstone tournament. You can make a whole video on this, but basically there was a Hearthstone tournament being streamed, and Blitzchung, the player, said the phrase Free Hong Kong, revolution of our time. The idea that the Hong Kong people standing up against the Chinese authorities and the Chinese abuse of power is necessarily a good thing. He supported that. I personally support that as well. And Blizzard decided to ban Blitzchung for this. Now, their reason for banning him does have some weight. It was a political statement in a non-political game. What I couldn't agree with was then banning the sportscasters that were commenting on the game. That was just to prove a point. That was an abuse of power. That was just to say, hey, look, we're going to come down hard on people. So I was massively against that. I'll make a whole video on the hypocrisy of Blizzard at some point, because they also say that they support gay and trans rights, and they changed all of their logos to be the rainbow symbol, apart from Blizzard China, because you can't support rights if it's going to lose your money, and that's not actually support, that's a business move. That's a different video anyway. Then there was the main problem with the whole Diablo Immortal, don't you guys have phones statement. And for those of you not keeping up, Diablo Immortal was announced at BlizzCon, meant to be the next Diablo game, and apparently it's a mobile game. It's just going to be your average clickfest cash grab mobile game, and people were not happy with this. And when the crowd started to turn, one of the developers said, don't you guys have phones? In a kind of sarcastic, jokey way to get the crowd on his side. What he wanted was the, yeah, he's right, we have phones reaction, but what he got was no, which was the best reaction you could possibly give them. And after that, so now we have Diablo 4. Not Diablo Immortal, the proper actual Diablo 4, and we have some more information about what Diablo 4 is going to be. Let me just read some of that information to you, and this best be good, because Blizzard have a lot of ground to make up here. They don't have an exact release date, but Blizzard have told us it will feature full real-time cinematics. That means that all of the cutscenes will actually exist in the game engine, and you'll be able to manipulate the camera during the cutscene. So it won't necessarily be pre-rendered visual footage. It will be using in-game models and using in-game locations, which I always like. I'm a big fan of gameplay seamlessly transitioning to a cutscene, and then the cutscene transitioning back to the gameplay. So that'd be pretty cool. Now, anyone who's played the previous Diablos will know about Sanctuary, the safe haven within the dangerous world. Normally you return to Sanctuary, stock up, and then you go back out into the world and fight. Well, now there are going to be camps around the world infested with monsters, and when you kill the monsters, the camp will become safe. So you're then going to be able to restock, you'll unlock shops and useful NPCs, so you can journey outside of Sanctuary, liberate these camps, and then create a safe haven within the world for yourself. It's going to encourage exploration. Hopefully it's nice. Now, they've also talked about multiplayer integration, and they've explained that even though Blizzard has the technology in order to host thousands of people at the same time. They don't want to do that. They believe that seeing too many other people in your world will make it feel less Diablo. Diablo's normally a solo adventure with a few specific friends, so it's going to be mainly you and people you know, occasionally a random in your world. You won't see many other people. Apart from when there's big global events going on, then they're more than willing to get lots of people together into the game and actually fight. So we haven't really been told much about the gameplay elements or much about the specific things we can come to expect as far as minute-to-minute gameplay goes, but camps sound good, multiplayer potential, cutscenes, hopefully they're going to be good. Now, part of me hopes that Blizzard won't mess Diablo 4 up, and a much, much bigger part of me knows that they absolutely will somehow. So, I'm excited to see how they go wrong with that. It's summer, and we all know what that means. It means Gaben comes down from his throne and flips the switch in the Steam office that turns the summer sale on. And we're all going to go and buy games we'll never play because they are so damn cheap. Now, in previous sales, there was a point system. The Christmas sale, the Lunar New Year sale, and what happened was, for the amount of money you spent, you earned a certain amount of points, and you could then spend these points on backgrounds, on cosmetics, on stickers, on medals for your profile, stuff like that. Nothing in-game, just a kind of, oh hey, this is awesome, I've also got this little thing. But those points were limited to the sales they were active for. So once the sale ended, any points you hadn't spent would effectively be wasted. This time, they're bringing the points system back permanently. For every pound you spend, you'll earn 100 points. For every dollar you spend, you'll earn 100 points. Give or take a few points for inflation every now and again. But if you refund a game, you will lose the points that you got for buying it. You can stack your points up and build them up, and you can then spend your points on various things. If a player leaves a review that you really liked, you found useful, you found funny, you are able to gift that player a certain amount of points. They're able to see that you've done that. You can get badges, you can get cool stuff like that. I mean, once you've bought this cosmetic badge of Geralt in a bathtub, you don't really need to buy anything else, to be honest. That's pretty much the pinnacle of what you're going to be able to get, so I think we should all be aiming for that specific badge. Also, stop buying new games on Steam and go and complete the games you haven't finished. I know you have a massive backlog. I do. Maybe we should play our old games before buying new ones. Highway could be banned in the UK. Not a highway as in a road, highway as in the Chinese technology manufacturer. So to fully explain this, I've got to go into a bit of history behind the company. Highway is a Chinese brand that mainly sells phones, and by all accounts the phones are actually pretty good. They do what they're meant to do pretty damn fast. However, reports and investigations from a lot of Western intelligence agencies, the American CIA and the British MI5 and MI6, have said, and Washington has just straight up guaranteed, that Highway, the technology company, has very close links and close ties to both the Chinese military and the Chinese intelligence agencies. Now, what this could mean is that your Highway phone or Highway device is listening, recording, and sending the information back to China. And with China's, track record on doing this, I wouldn't doubt it. Now, here's where the problems come in. A lot of the Western infrastructure, especially in the UK with our 5G network, relies on Highway technology. So with new sanctions coming in, Highway will not be able to use any US produced microchips or processors. And Highway uses a hell of a lot of microchips and processors produced in the US because they're pretty damn good at doing it. Now, new sanctions will prevent this. Highway does have a large stockpile of chips that they were making before the sanctions came into place, so they will have to dip into that stockpile and use them. The problem with stockpiles is that they will eventually run out. Now, this has led the UK specifically to a rather awkward situation. If a large amount of our infrastructure is built using Huawei technology, especially the 5G networks, and that company's future is now potentially in jeopardy. Can we build infrastructure with technology that has an uncertain lifespan? The whole COVID-19 thing then happened, and the US and the UK were forced to reevaluate exactly how much of our technology relies on unreliable Chinese technology. Basically, the future of Huawei is in question because supplies of vital processing chips are now disrupted, and therefore anything that was built using Huawei technology, especially the UK's infrastructure grid, is also in question. Now, the UK could switch production and switch kind of use to another supplier, which I think is a good idea, and Huawei could start producing chips in China. But again, a lot of the factories that produce the Chinese chips still have to obey international sanctions, especially from the US, so we're in a kind of difficult situation. I'm not personally a massive fan of China's records on human rights, so I think any country that's able to move away from reliance on China towards self-sustainability is a good thing. So if you have a Huawei device, just make sure you're keeping up to date with the news about the future of the company. Alright, on to the main story of today, Cyberpunk 2077. I don't need to explain how hyped everyone was for this game, and when Keanu Reeves told us to wake up, we had a city to burn. We reached hype levels that shouldn't even be possible. The gameplay demo was fantastic. I've watched all the footage out so far, and now we've got even more information about CD Projekt Red's latest project, Cyberpunk 2077. If you've not been following the updates of this game, imagine a future dystopian city with absolutely loads to do, a deep, involving, complex storyline, and character customization that might be more detailed than any game we've seen so far. Here is what we know. Release date set for November 19th, releasing on Xbox One, PS4 and PC, with a Stadia release coming later. The game will release on the next-gen consoles, the Xbox Series X and the PS5, and the developers have actually said if you purchase the game on the PS4 or the Xbox One, you'll be able to upgrade to the next-gen version for free. You will not need to buy the game again. CD Projekt Red keeping it classy as always. Stay in that company that we know and respect. Now, the game will release as a single-player game, but they've hinted they will release DLC, most likely free DLC in the future, that will add a multiplayer element. It's not sure whether you'll be working with your friends or working against your friends, but you will be able to explore Night City with your mates in the future. Now, Keanu Reeves is an in-game character, both his likeness and his voice, and by all accounts, Keanu himself is very excited about this game coming out. But he is not one of the romance options available in the game. You will not be able to flirt with, date, or be with Keanu Reeves. This is an oversight I expect modders to have fixed on the PC version within the first hour of release. So don't worry, if you're playing on PC like I will be, I'm sure that'll all be fine. Now, the character customization is insane. Most games let you customize your character's hair, body size, eye color, stuff like that. That's all standard issue now. But Cyberpunk 2077 lets you change your gender and your genitals independently of each other. You can look like a guy with female genitals. You can look like a girl with male genitals. Or you can have no genitals at all. You can just play without them. That's an option you can do. There's various body hair levels of density and positioning. You can change the individual colour of your eyebrows. And this is pretty damn detailed, seeing as it's a first-person game, and you're not going to see yourself all that often. One mechanic they have, however, confirmed is in it is thought jacking. The ability to see from another NPC's perspective and then rewind the video footage of their day. So if you have the cybernetic eye implants, and so do they, you'll actually be able to watch the story, the event and the adventure from multiple viewpoints, rewinding and freeze framing and zooming in as you go. Very detective-like. combining kind of the Deus Ex city style with the Witcher 3 detective style, kind of a bit of Arkham thrown in there for good measure. It's going to be a lot of mysteries to solve and a lot of ways to solve them. It's confirmed to be bigger than The Witcher 3, and the city will be more densely packed than any virtual city so far. So even though the city itself might not be massive, the game will be, and this city will have so much to do in it. Now the devs have stated both Vampire Bloodlines and The Masquerade and Deus Ex as inspirations, which is good because they are both fantastic games. I think Deus Ex did the whole futuristic city thing fantastically. Now finally, and this is quite curious, CD Projekt Red have actually stated they're working on 2 AAA games they want to release by 2021. One of them we know is Cyberpunk 2077, but the other game we've heard nothing about. So either they said that to throw people off the scent, or they're actually really good at keeping a secret. They're probably slightly better at keeping secrets than The Last of Us 2's plot department was. So let's hope that this secret game is also pretty damn good. Thanks for watching. If you'd like more daily geek and nerd updates, then make sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon. Leave a comment down below for anything you're interested in, or share some stories with me, and share the video with whoever you think would like it. All my content is only possible through the generous support of my patrons. You can find links in the description down below to join the Patreon, join our Discord server, or come chat to me live on Twitch. And as always, have a great day.